All right. Microphone check 1 2 1 2 3 4 check 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 1 2 3 4 check 1 2. Hang on.
19, Christina Dynasty. In the field, wearing number 2, Evelyn Chudowski. Number 3, Darren Dixon. Number 4, Elise Smith. Number 6, Dolene Schmidt. Number 9, Maxine Sampson. Number 12, Megan Sirowit. Number 14, Shelby Green. Number 25, Mia Schaefer. Number 27, Ella Peterson. And number 28, Mia DePronio. Fans, we ask you at this time, if you are able, please rise and remove your hats for the flag of the national anthem. Thank you so much for coming out to today's match. We appreciate your support of WPSL Soccer and enjoy today's match.
And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. You're watching a presentation of WPSL Soccer. This is the third home match of the season and in a row for Inter-Connecticut FC, as today, after coming off of a loss last Saturday to Merrimack Valley Hawks, they're taking on the Albany Rush, who have won their first two matches of the season. Ironically enough, this is the first time that the Rush is playing somebody other than the Vermont Wild. In their first two matches of the season, they traveled up to Manchester, Vermont, winning by 2-0, and then coming away with a 2-1 victory last week in the return matchup with a late goal coming from Paige Luke and the opening goal from Isabella Siebert. JJ Duke here with you from a rather warm Milford, Connecticut. Albeit, fortunately for right now, at least not trying to speak anything into existence, but we are expected to have this one completed well before we have storms coming later today in New Haven County. But for Inter-Connecticut, this is going to be one of those matches where they are really hoping to turn things around and try to have that mentality in the positive sense going forward to the final 5 matches of the season, including today. It's never easy to come off of a 7-0 loss a week ago to Merrimack Valley, including giving up 6 in the first half. But the beauty of it, it's a new day and a new opportunity and a few changes as well for Inter-Connecticut. Starting in goal again, Christina Dynasty, who has been the standout in between the posts. Evelyn Chudowski maintains her spot up front alongside Darren Dixon. Elise Smith, the late addition into the starting 11. Dolene Smith also there as well. Maxine Sampson wears 9. Megan Sirowich wears 12. Shelby Green is 14. Mia DePronio is in on defense wearing 28. Mia Schaefer as well, 25. And Ella Peterson, who's been one of the standouts all throughout this season, wears number 27. I will give you the starters for Albany in just a moment here. There's also, in addition to being your play-by-play broadcaster and public address announcer, got to run the scoreboard as well, as it looks like we're ready to go. Albany is in the navy blue jerseys going from left to right on your screen, and it'll be Inter Connecticut who get us underway. We are going to have hydration breaks as well in this matchup as we are off here from Florin High School. Temperatures in the mid-80s, so yeah, that's going to activate the hydration period. Is also something that we don't often see, is the referee getting in the way of things inside the first 10 seconds. Ball played out of the back, knocking off our official, and it'll be Ella Peterson to lump it forward, looking for Dolene Smith, and it's a good first touch, but thrashed away by the Albany back line. Here are their starters for today's match under the direction of Brian Gordon and Corey Turpening. In goal is Anna Joyce. And then numerically in the field, Helena Reese wears 6, Lucia DeVito 7, Isabella Siebert wears 10. The Marist University product. The number of teams, or number of players from MAC schools are soon to be the Metro Conference in action today. Georgia Green wears 14, Kara Whitman wears 18, Talia Vitullo 19, Growth Hotelling wears 22, Maya Aller 28, Mia Van Dyke, the former Siena product, wears 34. And McLaren Richards, who plays just down the road at Sacred Heart University in the back, wears 35. And it's a good touch by Chinowski, the Cornell product, and this will go wide. And speaking with the folks in the Inter-Connecticut coaching staff, they're saying a lot was worked on this week in training and possession and building out of the back. The one thing to keep an eye on here at Florin High School, it is a bit of a narrow playing surface, so if you're going to be playing from out of the back, that's perfectly fine, but communication is going to be key, and you don't want to have those pocket passes in the middle of the park go array. This ball played towards DePronio, now down the channel, looking for Chinowski. But it's cycled back by Mia Van Dyke, but that's actually played behind. It's going to be an early corner to come here for the hosts inside of 2 minutes. It's a bit of a wayward back pass from Van Dyke, someone who's been experienced at this level, but this is her first season with Albany. Recently, the New York Shockers, an organization that has sponsored teams in NPSL, UPSL, and as recently as last year, WPSL. They're not having a team play in the WPSL this season, so Van Dyke, amongst a number of players playing with Albany this year, this is served in towards Peterson, and there's Van Dyke to clear it away, and it's a good glancing header as well, and an opportunity for the visitors to break. This is Siebert, the Marist University product, able to get it ahead, looking for the return from Kira Whitman, and it's I thought for a second a decent ball, but the assistant on this near side puts the flag up. So a break for the hosts. Does that look to be a promising counterattack? This Albany Rush team, this is their second season in WPSL, but they've been around since coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. They played in United Women's Soccer, another pre-professional league in the U.S. between the years 2021 through 2024. They finished as high as getting into the quarterfinal round of the East Region tournament. That came in the 2023 season. They also had a really solid campaign in 2022, finishing third in their division. Last year, finished fifth in the conference, only victories against Kingston Capitals as a giveaway. Now a chance here for Siebert, a strong tackle, though, and a clearance to come. That was Shelby Green dispossessing the attacker. That brings the part about having careless mistakes in the back and conceding possession in dangerous areas when you are trying to build out of the back. But Green, ever present to swipe that away. Shelby, the local product, right here from Milford, Connecticut, wrapping up her senior campaign with Southern Connecticut State of the Northeast 10 Conference. Good battle at the opposite side of the field, and Darren Dixon comes away with it, and now Inter can break. Dixon maybe rushed that a little bit, looking for Dolene Smith, one of a number of Iona University players on this field. Ball hit into the channel, well too strong for Whitman, and that goes into touch. Albany last year finishing fifth out of a six-team Northeastern Conference with just 2 wins. Both came against the Kingston Capitals, who have dropped down to WPSL 2. No, there is no promotion relegation for those that are curious, but you look at the number 2 division as kind of a transitional phase, and Kingston, who had previously sponsored a team in WPSL, took a couple of years off, came back last year, and were rooted to the bottom of the conference, so that they voluntarily elected to drop down after last year. Albany and Kingston actually met up in a friendly during the midweek, with the Rush coming out as a 4-0 victor. It'll be a throw on this near side taken by Reese. Reese, good hold-up play. The pass just a bit too strong for Siebert, and it will go out for a goal kick. It'll be Christina Dynison to clear it out of the back. It was registered 8 or more saves in all 3 contests played this season for Inter-Connecticut. Has had some highlight reel saves over the course of this season. For the player who formerly played overseas, has also appeared in the UEFA Women's Champions League for a previous time, as that is cleared away by Maxine Sampson out for a throw. Sixth minute, both teams still looking for their first chance. Again, as mentioned briefly, we are told by the 4th official that we're going to have a hydration break to come in this game. As a nice turn into space, and a chance is put away, and Albany rusher out in front. It's Siebert with the goal. There's just a little throwing into a pocket of space, and then Siebert able to turn and finish with the best of them, sliding it past Dynison in goal. And after what was a pretty cagey start to this one, it's exactly the output that you need on the road, getting one on the board early. And for Siebert, a player who has stood out playing at this level for a number of seasons, picks up the tally, and that is her second in as many matches. Goal scored for Albany Rush in the 7th minute, scored by number 10, Isabella Siebert. Siebert, one of 16 returners that are currently registered to the organization thus far. Ooh, that was awfully close there. Tell you what, Dolene Smith might have been in, but it might have just been the last step of the defender and McLaren Richards to put her off. That was a chance almost immediately after conceding, and they say in the sport you're most likely to concede right after scoring a goal. And nearly Inter were able to play through. Siebert, who's been a regular for this organization all throughout its pre-professional days. 2 goals in 9 matches and 8 starts for the Rush last year. And one of the number of players that have played even since the UWS era. But I was speaking about those New York Shockers players. There's 8 players from that organization who were registered and featured in matches last year who have now come on over to Albany. So you're looking at a roster of 24 players that have had some experience at this level one season ago. And when you have a rather large core in doing the pre-match preparations, 38 registered players on this Albany Rush roster, at least coming into today's match. We're talking nearly 2/3 of them had experience in this league last year. That's a pretty good pool to dive into, especially for how strong this region has shown out here in WPSL. As a chance now on the opposite side of the field, but Ella Peterson, as ever, strong in her tackling, taking it off Lucia DeVito. And it'll be out for another throw. If you're just joining us here, 1 goal to the good for Albany coming from Siebert in the 7th minute, as Megan Sirowich able to knock that forward, trying to collect it, but muscled off the ball by Georgia Green. Shelby Green able to clear it away, last name spelled differently, and it'll be out for a throw as Maya Allard will go over and take it. And while it was a bit of a challenging season for Albany last year, it did have a couple of players that featured pretty regularly and were impactful both on the goal-scoring side and defensive side. Allison Falvo was an all-conference player starting in 7 matches, and Olivia Lindsay, who's part of the Marist University squad that made the MAC tournament last fall, had 4 goals in 9 games played for Albany. Both of those players not registered on the roster yet this season. It looks like the visitors have fallen into a good form here on this narrow surface. As a left-footed effort right at Dynison. Whitman with the strike, and it had something behind it. One of the things that I'll be looking on in terms of looking for that incremental progress for Inter-Connecticut. Winning those second phases off of clearances, that has been a little bit of a struggle for the home side in the early part of the season. Dynason, albeit not on that time, does get plenty of purchase on her clearances. But not having that help for the center forward, that has been something of a problem thus far. However, the hosts able to build down this near side for Dolene Smith. It's tackled out for a throw. Strong start from the number 6 for Albany. That's Helena Reese. Second team All-Empire 8 selection out of Nazareth. Just in her first year last season. She pretty much appeared in every game for the organization and appeared in 8 games last year for Albany Rush. Peterson looking over the top for Chudowski. McLaren Richards able to clear it away. Still could be on here for Sirowicz with the left foot. Trying to get it onto that favorite right, but maybe perhaps would have been better off going with the left as it's tackled away. Even conceding the goal, it certainly has been a better start for Inter. This ball just launched forward into space, but it'll be harmless for Anna Joyce. And hearing the instructions from down below from Brian Gordon being barked out. Joyce, a Mount St. Mary's product. That's the MAC school, not to be confused with the Mount program out in Newburgh, I believe, but had a shutout last season against Marist, and one of those players that joined from the New York Shockers a year ago. That is a great through ball, and Siebert's been played through here. Little bit of a heavy touch, however. Oh, that certainly could have been a chance there for Siebert to double her goal-scoring tally. And Dynason was off of her mark to take it. That's a good tackle from Peterson. And now Mia Schaefer a chance to find an outlet. And it comes in Dolene Smith, who's gotten inside. Able to find Schaefer, who started this move, and she'll have a pop goal. I'm actually not quite sure if that ended up being intended for a ball to this near channel for Chudowski, but going back to those second phases, it's one of those where when you have that clearance played out, okay, you don't win the initial header, and that's been the role given to by Megan Sirowicz, no problem. Who's the one that's going to step up and keep possession and build from that area? That time, the ball basically bundled all the way through to Siebert. Fortunately for Inter-Connecticut, it was nothing coming from it. The visitors are going to build out from the back here, but a dangerous area to play Green into. It'll be a throw to come, and why I say dangerous, you'd think playing centrally with no one around, it's not the worst area in the world, but if you put too much onto that pass out wide, with just these narrow dimensions, that's where things can often come back to get hurt. Ball over the top that Dixon was trying to hunt down. Schaefer able to help it ahead. Dixon. Oh, it's a really nice turn. The referee could have brought that back for a foul. Definitely heard that clatter from up here, but we play on. Maybe perhaps thinking that because there was no one else in a position, there's always going to be a heavy touch anyways as Green goes safety first out for a throw. Coming up on a quarter hour gone here from Milford, Connecticut. One of 3 matches involving Northeastern Conference teams over the course of the day. A couple of teams have a bye, including Sporting Connecticut, who later on this evening out in Davis, California, will be taking part in the Brandy Chastain Cup. A matchup between them and the California Storm, as that was the rematch of last year's WPSL championship. In fact, the last 2 winners of this competition. That matchup will kick off local time 6:30, Eastern time 9:30. And then as we go throughout the evening, we'll check in on some of the scores from elsewhere. Maxine Sampson looking to play it ahead, intercepted. A shot from Siebert well wide of the mark. That has been the one area, at least in the first quarter hour of this match, that Inter have struggled in terms of playing out of the back from that right side of the field. Elsewhere, they've been rather good. And Sampson trying to help it out, looking for Dixon, but it was intercepted. Just tuning in, 7th-minute tally from Isabella Siebert. The difference thus far in the match is all 5 of the substitutes for Albany will go on a bit of a job. Would have to imagine from their midweek friendly against Kingston Capitals, it's fairly heavy rotation. I did say that they have a large roster to pick from, as a strong tackle from Whitman, but equally good recovery from Dolene Smith to help it back. Well, yeah, when you have 38 players registered to choose from, you want to make sure you're getting game time for everybody. And with only the 8 matches in the conference this season, that has a foul in the midfield and a free kick to come for Inter. You know, last year was 10 matches in the regular season, but that was with 6 teams, now up to 8 teams this season. So just a single round robin, and then you play your local team or your nearest team at a home and away, and with Albany getting that out of the way and 6 points on the board against Vermont Wild, they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Only 3 points behind Sporting Connecticut with 2 matches in hand. They're putting themselves into a good spot, as this is going to be a throw right in front of us for Elise Smith. Sarowich tackled off the ball by Talia Vitullo. No one to play it ahead to, as Siebert made a channel run. Now Peterson will carry forward. Richards, a good header forward. McLaren, a regular for Matt Micros' Sacred Heart Pioneers, who won the MAC tournament title in rather dramatic fashion in penalties over Canisius in a driving snowstorm up in Buffalo back in November, and got to the NCAA tournament where they fell to Georgetown. Richards was certainly one of those standout players over the course of the season, as that's going to be brought back for a foul. And just only going to be going into her junior season is the Albany number 35 for Sacred Heart, as Albany are going to be preparing all 4 of their field player subs to come on. And in WPSL, you get roll-on, roll-off subs, and Albany electing to make the change just a few minutes before the hydration break, as that's wasteful from Peterson, and out for a goal kick. So if nothing else, Albany is going to get those 4 that come off a little bit of an extended breather. As we'll confirm the players coming off. The goal scorer, Siebert, will be one of them. Kira Whitman, the second of the 4, as is Ruth Hotelling and Lucia DeVito. Players that come on, number 9, Sam Torres. Kira Burmaster wears 11. Ava Nielsen, 21. And Kate McFerrin wears 32. Visitors do have a reserve goalie in Olivia Goodman, who wears 50. As Dixon gets down that channel. Good strong tackle, however, by Allard. It will be a throw for the hosts right over by the corner flag. We're about like 4 minutes away or so from that hydration break. Again, you have to have that wet thermometer get above 86 degrees, or the coaches agree upon it. And it's right about at that mark. This one sent it to the back post, and I'll tell you what, it certainly had Joyce thinking about it for a second. And coaches going player safety first, so they will make sure to utilize those water breaks, as we're going to have a couple of changes now coming for the hosts. See, Skylar George taking her bib off. She wears 23. As Sirowich and Dixon are off. And then I've got a number 19, and that's Liz Constante. Comes on, the lone goal scorer of the season for Inter Connecticut. That came in a 2-1 loss back on May the 13th against Vail. It was a really tricky first 45 minutes for Inter on that day, but they built as the match went on and picked out a goal inside the final 10 minutes and made a game of it. Vail, who got off to a great start this season and suffered their first setback last week. That ball under hit, and Peterson now looking for any outlet. But no one making that channel run, and felt like Peterson just rushed it ever so slightly there. The Iona product, who played 7 games last season, 7 the year prior, has certainly been one of the standouts. And a heavy dose of Gales all across the field for both of these teams. difficult when you can do any sort of scouting of your opposition, but when you've coached a lot of players or seen a lot of players that you've scouted in college play, you have at least an idea of who to expect and what to expect out of them in these sorts of games. As George will let that skip out for a throw. Past 20 minutes ago on the lone goal coming in the 7th minute from Isabella Siebert of Albany. Well, it's a great ball into the channel, an opportunity for Kate McFerrin. Got a little bit wide. Peterson does ever so well, though, to just cut down the angle. That's a really smart play from Peterson because you saw where her defensive recovery had to come from, electing to just force that player out onto the far side and not really give much of, well, really any inroads to cut back in. He helped the goalkeeper on that situation. Yeah, it becomes a very simple collection. Mia DePranio hung onto the ball a little bit too long there and underhit the pass, intercepted, but there's Peterson to clear it off one of her own teammates. And DePranio able to guide it back safely. That switch might actually work out here, and it does for Dolene Smith. Smith trying to use her pace against Reese, but there's the recovery run, and new balls, please. As the French Open ends tomorrow, but I'll have to have someone go and get that. Hammer nearly onto the baseball field, but it'll be a throw for Elise Smith in front of us. And this should be a goal kick. And it is. I'm probably going to imagine the next stoppage of play. We'll have our hydration break for the half. Good pressing, though, by Schaefer, but no one stepping up until Peterson. Ooh, she gambled and was late on it. Now Nielsen plays forward, looking for McFerrin. The two substitutes linking up. This will hang on. Here's Sam Torres, another one of those changes into the area. Torres beats a couple, but a great recovery from Elise Smith, and that ball does go out. Well, you could see there was danger signs written all over there because Peterson was late to that 50-50. It sparked a nice little opportunity in a run. But it's a wasteful moment, and that's going to bring the drinks break on here. As we'll see the clock on your scoreboard at home run. The clock here at the field will stop. So just pause for a brief second as the players get some fluids on. The players now will go off for a hydration break here with the heat. So while the players are heading off, we'll take a look at what's coming up over the course of the rest of the day in WPSL Northeastern Conference matchup. As again, I said, later on this evening, we wish all the best to Sporting Connecticut in their Brandy Chastain Cup contest against the California Storm later on this evening. They'll be back in action next Saturday against Merrimack Valley Hawks. The other games in action here today, both starting at 6 o'clock. It is Connecticut Rush against Vermont Wild. The Rush, this same umbrella that Albany is in, the Rush Soccer organization, but different locations and different squads. Connecticut Rush, who knocked off the Rhode Island Rogues 3-0 last week over Albertus Magnus in New Haven, take on Vermont Wild, as Vermont had a 2-game and 2-day stretch last week, but ultimately lost both, losing to Albany 2-1 and to Sporting 4-0. That game kicks off at 6. And Rhode Island hosts Merrimack Valley in what could be a very intriguing matchup, with Rhode Island getting off to the great start and knocking off Sporting Connecticut 3-1. They take on a Merrimack Valley Hawks squad who are certainly going to be up for it after the 7-0 victory here last week. Right now you have Connecticut Rush, Albany Rush, and Rhode Island all sitting on 6 points. But the two Rush teams have both just played 2 matches. Inter as well as Vermont trying to get off the mark. Meanwhile, Vale and Merrimack Valley each on 3 points. And so the hydration break now done. This will be a goal kick to come here for the hosts. And again, you guys at home will have a little bit of a different number in terms of what the time is. I'm going off of what the scoreboard here on the field says. As we are underway, it was requested by the officials for us to stop the clock here on site just to make adding numbers a little bit easier, which I can understand for someone that struggles with mental math and struggles when if I'm not wearing sandals with numbers more than 10 or if I'm wearing sandals up to 20. Shout out to Rocket Power from back in the 90s. It can be tricky, but we play on here. Under 22 minutes left to go in this first half, again with the lone tally coming in the 7th minute from Isabella Siebert. That's going to be well done there from Maxine Sampson. And going over the top are the hosts, and it's going to work out for Dolene Smith. Can she take it down? She did, but a good recovery run from Reese. And Reese does well to see it out for a throw. Yeah, it's well defended there by the talented young defender for Albany. Torres now. Little 1-2 comes off nicely. But Elise Smith, equally good recovery run. Ooh. Okay, no, the assistant said throw for the visitors, but the center referee is going to bring this back for a free kick. As a change will come. Kiri George, who will be back onto the field. George missing the last match. And certainly her presence of not being on the field was noted. She was outstanding at center back and central defensive midfield against Sporting Connecticut. She, alongside Ella Peterson, really held the WPSL defending champions at bay. Sure, a 2-0 loss on the night, but if it wasn't for those two and Dynaston in goal, could have been a lot more. Foul, though, on the host. A free kick to come. It's going to be Richards to launch this forward. It's not a bad area, actually, from McLaren, and an opportunity now for McFerrin, who's gotten in behind. But a heavy touch, keeper off of her line, and is able to hold on. I'll tell you what, though, from McLaren Richards, that's an outstanding spot to knock it into. Utilizing the speed of Katie McFerrin, nearly creating something. Mia Van Dyke clearing that, but off of a Inter player and out for a throw. Van Dyke, an outstanding career with Siena, wrapping up her senior season last fall. 20 starts in 24, 19 appearances in 25 with a goal and an assist. And a player that played over 60 matches for the Saints. Ball into a good area, just one to aim for. Little cutback and what was intended to be a scooped cross. This is going to go straight out for a goal kick. That was rather odd in how that came to be. Seemed like a promising move from the left side of the field for Albany. Duo of Richards and Van Dyke, they're going to be a problem for a lot of teams in this conference. And a lot of experience in the collegiate level as well as at the pre-professional level. Van Dyke, a really strong season for the Shockers last year. Also another player that's registered, but we don't see here today, Alina Legase, who was an all-conference selection in the WPSL last year for the Shockers. Was adding to that back line. And if Owen Lapp is available, another one of those players who really has hit this league and running over the last couple of seasons with the Shockers. Lapp with 6 goals in 25. And top 20 in Division III soccer for career goals and points is Lapp out of Gordon College with 108 points and 46 goals, but not in the squad today. There'll be a throw for Inter Connecticut. Just over a quarter hour left to go. Arguably, this is the best that we've seen Inter play at home this season, as Dolene kind of snatching at that one and dragging it wide of the mark. But we're seeing kind of those passages of play come together. Those pockets really get formed. Who's playing where? Sure, a couple of times the hosts have elected to go direct towards Dolene Smith, but it has worked out. A good recovery by Curie George to find Mia DePronio. Sampson. Constante, a little 1-2. That's going to turn out well, and there's two players to aim for. Constante just didn't get the cross curled enough. It was, again, a good move from Inter. Certainly offensively, this is the best that we've seen them look in the WPSL this season. And just the one goal scored across their 3 1/3 matches thus far. 12 conceded over those games. But this is the least that they've been threatened towards goal. And now a switch can be completed. Instead goes centrally to Chodowski. Curie able to work it out wide. Well, that was a bit of a late one there. That's going to be brought back for a foul. Georgia Green got upended by George. And a free kick to come. Apologies, folks. Also got to stay hydrated down here as well. Outside, it's still hovering in the 80s in here in the press box at Foreign High School. Albeit, it does help today that we don't have the glaring sun that we did the week ago today. But it's still rather hot. Sunscreen's been applied and reapplied. Matt Bodie upstairs as well. I did remind him, bring water. And the real question is going to be, did he bring his water? The fortunate thing is I've got a few extra bottles down here in case he doesn't. Throw coming for the hosts just inside of the attacking half of the field as Sampson certainly gave George a bit to do with that one, but recovers well. Sampson, who will be playing at the University of New Haven coming up in the fall after spending a couple of years at Division II Franklin Pierce. A couple of changes look to be coming on here for Inter. It's a lovely first touch from Smith. An even better ball into space, just a bit too much for George to get there. It is cleared out by Van Dyke. And changes coming is Taylor Gotsagan and Sarah Campbell each onto the field. Chodowski off, as is Elise Smith. Really solid shift for Evelyn as well, just in her second match of the season. Having to do a lot of the hold-up play and also allowing the likes of Dolene Smith to get in behind a couple of times. As Gotsagan got the nutmeg but couldn't complete it. And Skylar, George does well, but not able to link up with a teammate. Now here's Katie McFerrin. Been really impactful off the bench. Bit of a failed clearance. That ball lumped over the top, but the flag comes up. Ooh, that was close, but deemed that Ava Nielsen was in an offside position. Nielsen, another one of those MAC players by way of Marist, who started her career at Louisville. Good battle by Campbell to knock it down. Gotsagan. Not the idea that she would have wanted there. I think she was trying to overhit that for George. Reese now. Here with Torres. Good tackle. Really well done there by Gotsagan. Will be out for a throw. Taylor, the post product. Played in 33 games over 3 years for the Division II outfit. Green, that should be an inner throw, and it is. Only just a handful of players for Inter yet to come onto the field. Did see all 4 players for Albany who were substituted off the field earlier on in this half go back for a bit of a jog. Again, with the roll-on, roll-off subs in WPSL, you are allowed to come back on in either half. Not to say, or it's different than college soccer where if you come off in the first half, you stay out. Well, that's a bit of a dangerous one there. I was speaking about those pocket passes earlier. Can you have players step into those areas, especially if they're under hit? Richards. Well, that ball splits the defenders and getting all the way through is McFerrin through on goal. A save by Donison. Rebound put away. It's Sam Torres there to strike. And it's a calamity at the back for Inter-Connecticut as the two center halves not able to get a piece of it. And Sam Torres on the rebound gives her team a 2-goal advantage. Oh, it's one of those where you're looking at that and seeing it come together. Should have been a comfortable one for either Green or for Peterson. And it splits the pair, and it's comfortably put away. That's a bit of a harsh one there for Inter-Connecticut because they're really starting to build into the match, creating a couple of opportunities. But then just a long ball from McLaren Richards who gets the assist on it. Ends up, you put it into space, and you never know what happens. Albany rush goal in the 33rd minute, scored by number 9, Sam Torres. Well, now over these last few minutes here for Inter-Connecticut, it's very much going to be one of those, how do you bounce back from a mistake, a controllable moment? No doubt you're not going to need to remind the two players what happened. You just say, all right, on to the next one at this point. That's good recovery from Green. Skylar George will find DePronio. Oh, it's a nice little 1-2, and it's going to come off. Carey George. Now Sampson. Hits that into space. That was intended for Campbell. Sirowicz. DePronio. Well, Stephen Bell, though, clearly not seeing something that he likes because he's going to bring back 3 starters, including Mia Schaefer, only just came off the field a couple of minutes ago. It's a good first touch from Smith and a strong tackle away from Van Dyke, and it had to be well-timed. Otherwise, Smith is through on goal. Now, both teams have been given the opportunity to make changes. Interestingly, Albany's electing to do so with the 4 that came off the field coming back on, and Sieber as well as Whitman, O'Towling, and DeVito. And it's literally 4 on, 4 off. The 4 that came off the bench are now back on the bench as Campbell got a piece of it. Ooh, Sarah with an unmarked run into the box and just didn't get the connection. That's going to turn out to be an opportunity for the hosts. A well-driven in corner as well. Now the changes come back in for Inter-Connecticut. It'll be DePronio, Dolene Smith. See 2 of the changes. And that's Constante, the other that comes off. Yeah, so Coach Bell as well as Gus Harris clearly not seeing something that they like, so not waiting about, going for changes immediately. And that one out of the reach of Campbell. It'll be a throw for the visitors. 8 minutes left to go of normal time in the first half. And the goals coming in the 7th minute from Sieber and 33rd minute from Torres, though you all probably see a time a little bit different than mine. Again, I'm going off of the scoreboard clock, which we stopped for a couple of minutes due to the water break. Probably real time would have been the 35th or 36th minute. But I'll go off of what we just have on the scoreboard here. Well, that's a late one from Van Dyke. Sirowicz was upended, quickly gets back up, though. Referee must have seen ball first. That's a good touch from Green. Now can you find a pass? Campbell. Let's go first time, just stretching a bit there was Kiri George. Might have been one there for Campbell to take a touch and drive. So the idea was the right one. With a step over and see you later as DeVito now off to the races, well in from Peterson. That's a really good tackle. It's one of those in the modern game you better get right, otherwise you're going to be seeing a card from it. You'll leave your feet like that. And certainly fans of the English game would be applauding that one pretty vehemently. It'll be a throw nonetheless, though, for Albany. DeVito now. Go short with Hotaling. It's not going to stay on. Good idea from the visitors. Now, while this field is narrow, the length is perfectly fine at the 120 yards, so it's never going to stay on at any surface. Siebert. Forced back by Peterson. Siebert will get there, but Peterson just shadowing her and gives her a couple of shoulders. That ball ends up staying on. Siebert a little slow to get up after it. Again, not a flattering moment from the two center backs in Green and Peterson earlier from that direct ball over the top from Richards. Outside of that moment, Peterson especially has been outstanding. Well, 5 minutes left to go of normal time for the first half. Again, the clock was stopped on the field during that hydration break, so I cannot imagine there's going to be too much stoppage time. Maybe the minute or two added on. Oh, it's a heavy touch, but just stepping through is Van Dyke. I'll tell you what, Sirowicz and Dixon read that well, but just not able to come away with it. This ball over the top, Campbell underneath it. It should be an inner throw, and it is. I can see some instructions coming from the Albany technical area. They're asking for the game to be stretched a little bit. Can Siebert make a few runs in behind? Yeah, that's a foul. Siebert dragging Peterson down. I wonder if the Marist-Iona match has been announced yet for the regular season in the Metro Conference. Those two will be tangling in just a couple of months' time. Peterson to knock this into space. Not a bad area, but no one outside of Campbell was challenging for it. Inner will just start from the back. Oh, that's a great little reverse ball. And a better step from Georgia Green. Had to time that tackle well. Got Sagan, does enough to halt the progress. It is a throw for the visitors. And that ball stays on. Well recovered there from Sagan, who's done well coming off the bench. Figure. So now I see someone on the bench for Inter putting on a 21 jersey. Don't have that listed. So I have a feeling that I've been calling someone's name wrong the entire time. I hope that's not the case, but we'll get some confirmation at halftime. Only just given the numbers that we're listening, they've been changed a few times as well. Nonetheless, 2.5 minutes left to go here. The goals coming from the visitors in Siebert and Torres. Siebert in the 7th minute, Torres in the 33rd. There's a stoppage below us, and I believe it's Skylar George, who is down on one knee. As the assistant on this near side was trying to flag and go for player safety first, as Mia DePranio is going to come back on with just a couple of minutes left. And again, that's where it helps when you have this roll-on, roll-off subs where any potential injuries, especially for a lot of these players in this league, having college eligibility, will go back to their university programs in a month and a half or so. Just get the player off the field and just allow for treatment. Good battle by DePranio. Now a chance here for the hosts. Touch just a little bit heavy, and Reese able to scramble it back. As we are into the 45th minute now. Here's Campbell. Not a bad idea, but just stretching there with Sirowicz. Peterson comes clattering through. Schaefer battling. It comes back. Talia Vitullo now with McLaren Richards. And has the assist on the second goal. Really underhit that pass. But Campbell just a little bit late to get over there. And there's going to be just the 1 minute of stoppage time here in this first half. The referee has indicated that there will be a minimum of 1 minute of first half stoppage time. Time will be kept on the field. Maybe one last chance here now for the visitors to break as a channel ball hit towards Siebert. Should be able to reach this, and she does. Has Whitman going into the box. Siebert, had a ball there for Hotaling, who's making a late run. Probably should be the last action here of this first half. That was a moment, though, and Siebert once again finding a way to get in behind and nearly made something of it. Referee looking at the watch here might allow for this to play out. It does, and that's going to do it for the first half. Well, it was a goal early on from Isabella Sieber in the 7th minute to give Albany a 1-0 lead. And then just past the half-hour mark, Sam Torres on a ball over the top that was saved originally off the first chance. She put home the rebound to give it a 2-0 lead, in Albany, who are a perfect 2 of 2 on the season thus far, lead by 2. We'll step aside for halftime. Be back in about 15 minutes as you're watching WPSL action on the Inter-Connecticut YouTube page and WPSL TV. All right, welcome back, everybody, here to the Inner Connecticut FC YouTube page. JJ Duke here with you. 2 goals in that first half, one early on from Albany. Isabella Siebert getting her second goal in as many matches for the Rush, and then Sam Torres just past the half-hour mark, finishing off a ball that was clipped over the top. An initial save from Inner Connecticut's Christina Dynison, but the rebound falling to Sam Torres, who picks up her first goal of the season. Looks like we're just about ready to go here. It'll be Albany to get us underway. Unfortunately, can tell you that it's actually a little bit cooler outside than here in the press box. We'll still have the hydration break in the second half as we did in the first half, but players getting on with it to their best of their abilities. Certainly a first half that we saw Inter probably show of their 3 matches thus far home the best performance. They created a number of chances. Didn't do enough really to force any saves out of Anna Joyce in goal, but still did enough at least to ask a question or two. But immediately off the restart, a chance that's flashed over the bar from Ava Nielsen out for a goal kick. As I look off to my right, do I see a goalkeeper change? I think I do for Albany. Now, they do have one reserve keeper and Olivia Goodman on the roster. If we get a player to turn around, we'll see if that happens. Also, apologies, by the way, there was a jersey mix-up that was given to me prior to the start of this game, as, yep, that is Goodman in goal. So Albany Rush have swapped their goalkeepers out and platooning the halves. I was given that Kiri George was wearing the number 16 jersey in this game, originally from her number 20 jersey. But I was told that was Estefani Aguilar. More on that in a second here as the ball flipped over the top. It's Kate McFerrin who gets there. But here is Kiri able to recover. So sincere apologies to both the Georges and the Aguilars for getting that wrong. Again, going with the numbers that were given to me before the match. And we did tell that Kiri was going to be running ever so slightly late, so figuring in terms of who came on the field at around the midway mark in the first half. But apologies about that, and we will make sure to straighten that out for the next time. It's a goal kick here to come for Dynison, who did have to come up with a couple of saves in that first half. And stomping one off of a breakaway on Siebert to keep it at the 1-goal mark. And then, of course, making the first save before the second on the rebound was put away from Torres to double Albany's lead. But again, in terms of incremental progress, better stage that the hosts are from 1 week ago. And you could see the buildup has been good. There have been moments there, and things will improve with Kiri George on the back line. She, along with Ella Peterson, have been outstanding. It's just that 1 goal, sure, okay, conceded early on, a ball down the left side that Siebert's able to slot through. Okay, you kind of live with it. For the rest of the half, things were pretty fine for Inner Connecticut, not really forced into too many troublesome issues. It was a free kick that Albany's McLaren Richard just knocks centrally and long, and it splits Ella Peterson and Shelby Green, as both kind of went for it, then looked at each other. It's kind of like for those in the game of cricket, the 4 sequences that you want to hear from 2 that are runners on strike and off strike. Yes, no, oh, wait, sorry. Because they just looked at each other and the ball goes through, and then that's where the 2-on-0 created. Dynison making the first save, and really as a keeper, that's all you can do. And then you hope for good luck or your defense to come in and sweep it away. Outside of that, the defense for Inner Connecticut not really bothered all that much. Sure, maybe a little bit more defending, but defending in areas where things weren't really a problem. Now, the thing is, for Inter, can they start to string together some chances now to force a question or two out of the substitute goalie in Olivia Goodman, a native of Saratoga Springs, committed to play at Lemoyne. That's one thing that you'll see from this Albany Rush roster. They do have a lot of experience in terms of players with college experience, but you're going to have a lot of high school players as well on this roster. Again, it's a credit to what this organization has done in the capital region of New York State for many years. Developing internally, players have played together for a number of years, and then at this pre-professional level during their times either with UWS or now with WPSL. They've gotten game experience and have had a good amount of success. obviously wanting to improve from their 2-6-2 mark from a year ago, but already 2 wins on the spin, looking for number 3 here today. Things are certainly better than where they were from one calendar year. Good work by Darren Dixon. But Mia DePronio looking for any sort of help. Might have to be safety first here from Evelyn Smith. It's going to be a throw to come for the visitors. Oh, actually, no, it's going to be for Inter. Ooh, not quite sure where that was. Maybe it might have deflected off of Nielsen. Good strength by George to shield it back. Dolene Smith, very active in that first half, playing off of a couple of different target forwards, one of them being Evelyn Chudowski. And playing down the left in the first half. Has actually stayed now on this right side here in the second. Kara Burmaster. Now Talia Vitullo. Good little sequence here from the two midfielders as Vitullo has a chance to spread it wide with Nielsen. Tries to play it in behind, but Smith able to step up. Now can the host break? They're not looking for Chudowski centrally until just now. Tries to hold it up, but Van Dyke helps it forward. Here's Burmaster. Trying to square it through. Still could be on 4, but a strong tackle at the last moment and eventually scrambled away by George. Oh, 6s and 7s at the back for the host. Whistle's got to come here as Chudowski has stayed down. That was from that original ball played out of the back. And Chudowski, a player who has been kind of stop-start in her career at Cornell, didn't feature at all last year, a game the year prior. Was someone who's played at the international level for Dominican Republic, holding her back, and that was from that ball that was cleared from George. That'll be a bit of a loss here for the host because I was speaking about how Chudowski was very strong in holding up play in that first half, allowing for Dolene Smith to run off and run into channels. It's just going to be given back here on a drop ball to Inter Connecticut. And Peterson now been given liberty to attack. Trying to play it down the left side. And Peterson again has stayed forward here, and he's got a couple of players to aim for in the area. This should be a corner. Oh, it's a goal kick. Our center referee took a look at it for a second, but deemed a goal kick. It's a bad break for the hosts. That's a miscue, though, out of the midfield. Towling was looked to play it wide. No one around her, and it will be a throw for Inter in a good area. Megan Sirowich, who started this match, plays back, now launched over the top, but taken by Goodman. I haven't really seen Inter Connecticut just force a question out of the substitute goalie in Olivia Goodman after Anna Joyce played the first half. Now Talling's been given a lot of space to attack into. And still she goes on. McFerrin now onto the right. Just not the effort that she was hoping for. I think Katie, might have had another step or two to attack into. I'd like to take it from there, and bit wasteful with the effort for the Springfield College product. Very successful with Springfield, 4 goals and 4 assists last season, helping that team get to the NUMAC final. Yeah, that's one where you have to force a question from the keeper from that range. Strike it hard and low, you never quite know. Torres. A dangerous ball back, but Van Dyke does well to sort it out. Nielsen trying to get inverted. Now DePranio looking for Sirowicz. It's not a bad area, but Sirowicz started the run just a little bit late. It does allow Inter to get up the field. It's a good clearance, though, from Goodman. But Dixon does well to track back, and it will be a throw for Inter. So now seeing tactically, well, Dolene Smith has been featured more on this near right flank for Inter Connecticut. Has been playing just underneath the central of the 3 strikers. Richards gets that one all wrong. Smith is able to take it away. And Dolene will try her luck from distance. Hey, you know what? You appreciate the effort. It's one of those where if you haven't had a strike up until this point, at least fire one, see what comes up of it. And Goodman was basically rooted right to the goal line. There's a tough one there for Sirowicz, and then she gets dragged down, and it'll be a free kick now for Inter Connecticut. That's not a bad space to win a set piece in. This is one of those where Kiri George is going to tell everybody to get forward here. And the way that this match has gone for Inter, goals, again, slightly coming against the run of play. If you can get one of these set pieces to go in, things could look promising. That's not a bad ball to the back post. That's a strong header away from Van Dyke. Oh, it's an outstanding spot to put it into, and Mia Van Dyke had to get that read well. And it is actually going to be a corner after all of it. I believe, okay, so again, not given a 20 prior to the match, but I believe that was Danny Buta, the one that was tracking that down. And if it was, thought that might have been left anyways and out for a corner, but it is going to be one nonetheless here. Everybody can stay forward for the hosts. This one played on towards goal. Goes over everybody. Oh, that's an outstanding set piece, but no one made that run to the back post. That's one of those where Mia DePranio put it into an area and just asks for someone to run onto it. It's better signs here from Inter Connecticut in this second half. DePranio forcing a difficult one from Elise Smith, so going home to Dynison. That's a good flick on. Again, those were those second phases that I was talking about from balls out of the back. If you can't win the first, that's okay, but can you get the second? Nearly came to something for the hosts. Instead, it'll be Torres find safety with Hotaling. Richards out of the back. Shelby Green thought she had that one pretty comfortably. And there's Peterson to win it. Now she can carry. Really more needed someone to check into her. Dolene Smith did nearly well enough. And that's a light one. Probably another day that might have been a yellow card, but instead the referee's just going to signal a free kick. That has to be put behind by Inter-Connecticut, out for a corner. And something really coming out of absolutely nothing from that sequence, but now a chance here for the number 22 and Ruth Hotaling to trot up. Ruth, who was a Division III All-American out of William Smith last fall and the Liberty League Player of the Year. Had 13 goal contributions, nearly one per match for her college. She's been pulling the strings in the midfield today. As for 7 in the box, Dynison gets a hand to it, and it needed to be a strong hand. Ooh, there was really, to be fair, no one that was making that run to the back post, but the Inter-Connecticut goalkeeper had to be sure and was able to parry it wide. The wholesale changes coming on for both teams. I'll tell you, at least the changes for Inter-Connecticut is Maxine Sampson and Liz Constante onto the field. That's for Dixon and I believe Buta. And Sampson getting immediately stuck in. It'll be a throw for Albany. Torres off, as is McFerrin, Nielsen, and Burmaster. Yeah, Allard now going back with Talia Vitullo. Time to ping one into the box. Flicked on well. Here's Siebert. George does well to at least scramble it away. Keeper was starting to come out as that's left out for a corner. Curie had to be safe and secure with that one just to play it. Another corner coming for the visitors. And here's the score of the first of the 2 goals for Albany. Isabella Siebert to come across. A cool slotted finish back in the 7th minute. This one hit to the back post. There's runners on, and it was an unmarked runner. That was Kira Whitman. I just wasn't able to get the header right. But boy, that was a good opportunity. Both teams have been dangerous with their set pieces. On a hot day like this, where you can sometimes find play to be a little bit choppy and sporadic, set pieces is one where you could dive into the playbook and pick something out that works for you, and both teams have had their chances. Well won by Schaefer off the ball out from the back. Schaefer trying to find that little pocket pass, but it's intercepted. And now here's Vitullo playing it through. Siebert has stayed onside. She's already got one here this afternoon, trying to get 2, but there's Dynison to the rescue. Well, as she has done all throughout the course of this first season for Inter-Connecticut FC, Christina Dynison has been outstanding between the posts and once again denying Siebert on a one-on-one. You feel like Siebert trying to settle that ball down and sort her feet out. You take that a little bit earlier as the keeper comes out. Might have had more success. Of course, it's easier to say after the fact as the corner from Albany is cleared away. And Sierowicz with absolutely no help in front of her. And that ball not kept on, so it'll be a throw for Inter-Connecticut. As we're coming up on 20 minutes gone here in the second half. Now, Siebert has truly been a threat here in this match. Did have a goal in her first season with Marist last fall. Was used pretty much every game, mostly off the bench for the Red Foxes, but someone that has a high ceiling going throughout the rest of her collegiate career. It's funny because the amount of Iona and Marist players on the field, I called the Iona-Marist game up in Poughkeepsie. That was in early September last year, and one that needed a late equalizer from Gigi Swice in the 89th minute. One off of a full volley with the left foot, smashed in from 30 yards out. It's one of those that you clip that and you put it on your social media accounts and you pin that for the rest of your life because it was one that was worthy of a winner. And it happened just to be an equalizer on the day. And that sparked a run for Marist that saw them go unbeaten over 10 matches and see them qualify for the MAC tournament. A bit of a rare occurrence for the Red Foxes. Did see a couple of players depart in the portal and a number of players graduate. But still, it's a good platform to build on for Coach Nicole Pacapelli-Ciano. That's not a bad area, but a good interception by George. But the pass not the one that she was hoping for, as it was intended for Sampson. Talon completing the switch out wide. That one thundered off of her own teammate, Natalia Vitullo. But now the visitors stretch a little bit as Schaefer's able to pick apart a pass out wide. Just one player to aim for at the moment, that being Sirowicz. Sirowicz still calling for it, but it was a tired pass from Constante. That's unfortunate there again for Inter-Connecticut because the principles were there, but just not the execution. A couple of players starting to get some instructions from downstairs for Inter. That's one of those still, and you look at it almost the way we're going to see the Men's World Cup starting in a couple of days' time. You have this water break that will come in a couple of minutes. Use that as almost a timeout. And then you go for it at this point if you're Inter. But Peterson gets caught. Schaefer does well just to sweep it away. It'll be Estefany Aguilar getting ready to return to the field, as is Taylor Gottsegen, who had a really good first half, by the way, off the bench. Got in behind a couple of times and even from an advanced position did some good defensive work. Wasteful from Albany. This will be a throw coming here for Inter. Though actually, the referee's going to hold that for a second with the hydration break coming. Oh, no, now the subs are going to be allowed on. I thought for a second they would have been held with the stoppage coming in another minute or so, but said the changes will happen. As Gottsegen and Aguilar each on, Schaefer off, as is Shelby Green. And a swing and a miss from Elise Smith. That'll be a throw for Albany. And that is going to bring us to our hydration break as we're pretty much halfway gone through this second half. Just keep it with live pictures. I'll step aside as well, and we'll rejoin you in a couple of moments here on the Inter-Connecticut FC YouTube page as well as WPSL TV. All right, players making their way back onto the field here after our second half hydration break. JJ Duke with you. Thanks again for spending your evening here with us. Last time as scheduled that we'll be playing here at Foreign High School in Milford in just a couple of weeks' time on Friday, June the 19th. It will be Inter-Connecticut hosting the Connecticut Rush, the other Rush Soccer organization here in the Northeastern Conference. They'll be at the University of Bridgeport, so looking forward to seeing you all down there for that one. Scheduled start time at 6 p.m. As the assistants get back into their position, it will be a throw for the visiting Albany Rush. And we're back underway. Again, as we're going to have with the World Cup starting on Thursday, we're going to have these hydration breaks no matter the conditions. But what it really becomes for all of these teams, and of course we've had them now over the years with the increased temperatures, is that it becomes a timeout. You almost break the game up into quarters, and you figure for Connecticut and their coaching staff, while not happy with the 2-goal deficit, now you kind of gamble and go for it. You can make some tactical changes. You can get a few players higher up the field, and you just see what happens. While this is a first season and a learning season for Inter-Connecticut, it's a season also where you can't just say we're not going to go for it. And they are going for all these games. They're trying to also figure out what works best within the players, and more often the players that are available. But yeah, it's one of those right now where with the 2-goal game, you've had good runs of possession and created some opportunities. Now you just go forward and go forward. That's exactly what the hosts are doing here with Dolene Smith. Smith gets a chance. Oh, finished just wide. Well, immediately right off the hydration break, ball down this channel, and Dolene Smith, who's looking for her first in an Inter-Connecticut jersey, nearly made it a 1-goal game. And Dolene is a player that can get amongst the goal scorers, coming off of a 6-goal, 3-assist season for Iona last year, just finishing outside the top 10 in the conference in goals and points. And you feel like you can get her loose down the channels a couple of times. Good things will happen. She has appeared in a couple of games this season for Inter. Meanwhile, on the other side, an opportunity here, a ball flipped over the top from Kira Whitman. Just has one in the middle. Defended pretty well, though it has to be said, from Curie George. And Inter should be able to break out of the back. Oh, it's a nice turn. That ball stayed on. It did, at least on the first, but it will now be a rush throw. That's a ball here to this near side for Maya Allard. Allard looking for players to hit a cross into. It's defended well by Sampson. Allard, player that is known for her defensive abilities. Part of a back line for SUNY Cortland last fall that put together a school record 14 straight clean sheets. You take 14 in a season, that's outstanding. 14 in a row, that doesn't really happen in any level. Well, she was part of that group. Started 21 matches for the Castleton, New York native. Has shown the ability to get a bit forward here in this match. Stepronio's flick's going to work out to Aguilar. Smith a chance to turn. Oh, and she's got an option off to her left. Instead, Sampson puts it on frame. And it's going to at least force the save out of Goodman. Had a booming run on the opposite side of the field from Liz Constante. And definitely the hosts are rising right now. No one was making that run from Aguilar, the New Haven product. I'd love to see a little bit here from the host going forward, pressing a little higher up the field, trying to get structurally correct. Albeit the structure works here as they force a giveaway, and Sampson can carry. Good little cut, but try to link up with Aguilar, intercepted, but Sampson stays with it, and she'll try her luck from distance, but had to do something spectacular to beat the keeper from that range as Sarah Campbell is going to come on. But again, Inter-Connecticut have used what was, in essence, a timeout with that hydration break about 5 minutes ago to great effect because they have been on the front foot. And they've created a couple of really good opportunities. all coming from this right side of the field. And a great recovery from George. Can she keep it on? She does. Yep, referee on this near side says that ball did not completely go out. Albany, though, that ball stretches and gets through towards Siebert. Dynaston off of her line, but Siebert pokes it through, and it's a 3-goal advantage now for Albany. With just under 20 minutes to play of normal time, Isabella Siebert gets her second of the afternoon. And may that be enough, perhaps, for Albany to get over the finish line and get all 3 points. Siebert now, that's 3 goals for her in her last 2 games. A player that's expected to get a lot of goals next season for Marist. Certainly has started off and put herself on a really good platform for success in the fall of 2026. Albany Rush goal in the 73rd minute, scored by number 10. Her second of the match, Isabella Siebert. Well, it comes from a mistake, or a long ball. I can't quite say a mistake, but Peterson was stretching to it and just couldn't get a piece of it. Man, Albany have been ruthless. That's one of those where at this level, when you get the players that have the experience of success at this standard, and when you give them an opportunity, they're going to make you pay for it. But the one thing is Peterson, that's a late one there. And probably you think the official might have brought that back for a card and said it will be a foul, but you look at the 3 goals that were conceded by Inter-Connecticut, all well taken on the finishes, mind you. So take nothing away from what Albany have done here today. But it's one of those where you have a ball that was played down the left channel early on. Siebert beats a couple and then slots it away. Second goal was a ball knocked over the top, a brilliant initial save by Dynaston, and the rebound was scored. Dolene Smith has been slotted through, but too much on that pass, and it goes back to Goodman. And then the third goal, another ball that's hit through the middle, and Siebert just timed her run and finished it. Certainly of the 3 conceded, 2 of those were preventable mistakes from Inter-Connecticut to eventually allow the goals to come in. But they're all well taken. Well, that's the difference here for Albany in terms of confidence, especially that's a big one. Confidence in such a condensed season where you play 8 games. You get off to a good start, that's where all of a sudden you have that belief. And for this Inter-Connecticut team, well, today probably the best match that they've played thus far this season. Just doesn't have anything to show for it, and it could be one more, but the chance goes begging. It was Whitman trying to slot it in inside the far post. In Albany now, they're really trying to flex their muscles here. And for a Rush team, when you look at it, how their next few matches go over the course of the season, you feel for them right now that they've put themselves in a position to have a bit of success and maybe make a run at it. Again, with Sporting Connecticut on the bye this week because of their commitment to play in the Brandy Chastain Cup, temporarily, Albany Rush will go atop the standings. It's a lovely 1-2 here. Siebert on a hat trick gives it off, and a heavy touch from Hotelling. Have it go back to Dynaston. But yes, as it stands right now, Albany Rush will go level with Sporting, albeit there are matches. I could see the likes of Connecticut Rush and Rhode Island Rogues all go level. Imagine that, a 4-way tie for first place as we pretty much get to the halfway mark of this season. The 2 Rush teams will actually square off up in Albany on Wednesday evening, where Albany hosts Connecticut. Then a week later, Albany makes the trip down to take on Vail and then host Sporting. So I'll be curious to see how those games go for Rush, because, again, you continue to build on the success, pick up some points. All of a sudden, that match against Sporting on Sunday the 22nd could become a huge game for both of those teams. Then with the really tough finish away to Rhode Island before hosting Merrimack Valley. Changes coming in for Inter-Connecticut. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what Inter have in terms of their second half of the season. Yes, believe it or not, second half of the season will start for them after today. They will travel out to Rhode Island to take on the Rogues before they'll finish with a home and away against Connecticut Rush. As I said, hosting Connecticut Rush on the 19th before traveling out to New Haven on June the 29th. And sandwiched in between that is a trip up to Manchester, Vermont to take on Vermont Wild. As Albany claiming a corner kick, but the referee not seeing it that way. Well, there's a player that has gone down behind the play. The referee needs to stop that. I know, obviously, Lucia DeVito is off the field, but still, that's one where you could just haul things, and the athletic trainer has now been asked to go take a look at DeVito. Did have Ava Nielsen go straight on for her. It was a bit of an awkward one for DeVito where trying to hit the brakes, and there's not a lot of room between the touchline and the running track here at Foreign High School Stadium. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for her. It was Nielsen with a takeaway. Mia Schaefer not taken by that dummy. Able to put in a tackle, but it's an even better turn. Dixon, though, able to track back and intercept. Skylar George picked up a knock in the first half, but seems to have recovered well enough. Well, that's a slack pass, and now Dolene Smith able to get there. Still Smith. Still Dolene goes on. Has earned the right to go for goal. Didn't have anyone making that run to the far post, but it's a well-taken move from the Iona product. Still off to our left, by the way. Lucia DeVito is getting worked on continually by the athletic trainer here, looking at her left leg. And keep you updated on anything that happens from that. That's a heavy touch, and Schaefer able to intercept. Switch now to Sampson. Sampson. Tell you what, it's not the worst idea in the world, bending one into that back post area, but no one was making that run. Schaefer again. Tell you this, for Schaefer, who last played collegiately in 2021 at Southern Connecticut after playing at Dickinson for a few seasons before, she's been really solid in the middle of the park, doing a job at a couple of different positions, center back or that holding midfield role. Not quite sure if she had played previously at this level or coming in back now, but hasn't stood out negatively, has done the job. Often enough as that position, you don't get the glory moments, often just the one that's sticking in the tackles or trying to pick apart a pass or two. There's changes coming for Albany, 3 changes because DeVito, who is now walking over to the bench after getting assessed by the athletic trainer. So it's 3-on-3 off instead of what Albany have done 4-on-4 off. One of those changes is the player with a pair of goals on the day, that is Isabella Siebert, 7th and 73rd minute. And Siebert, who last season was really solid for this organization, scoring a couple of goals in 9 appearances, has already gone one better. So she has basically been part of the furniture for Albany Rush, been with this organization not quite from day one in their pre-professional stage, whether with UWS or WPSL, but pretty much has been there throughout the entire process. It just builds and grows in confidence. Ella Peterson trying to get through a wall of Rush players. As we're inside of 10 minutes ago, again, you at home might be seeing a different score line, or excuse me, a different time than we are here at the stadium. The referees did request that the clock get stopped during hydration breaks. The ball stayed on, by the way, as Katie McFerrin has gotten in behind. It's a beautiful cross. Just stretching was Ava Nielsen, not able to get a piece of it. Might have been put off slightly by Dennison in goal. And still a credit to Katie McFerrin to continue to stay with that and nearly turn it into something. Oh, it's a good touch from Campbell as well to get out of that. Sampson, yeah, can complete the switch, and it's going to be a good one. Dixon can allow Schaefer to carry, but it's a heavy touch. But Dixon able to win it back, and she can drive forward here. Still Dixon goes in a big collision between her and McLaren Richards. And Richards coming away with it. Again, it's a promising moment there from Inner Connecticut. Good little link-up play. Changes coming back in for Inner with a few minutes left to go. Skylar George off as is Taylor Gottsagen. Buta and Sirowich on. Again, fortunate while we've not had the blazing sun that we did a week ago. Has been warm, but with the sun behind the clouds for the majority of this match, a little bit more bearable here as opposed to what we were thinking we could have happen. The temperature is close to 90 degrees here earlier on today. That ball is hanging up and taken away by Torres, and she's got players with her. But Torres trying to get in line. Carrie George, very experienced, not having much of it. And able to play out of the back, our Inner. Reese, though, with the interception. George equal to that cross. Coming up on just about 5 minutes to go here of normal time. With a couple of injuries and the goal, and of course a lot of subs, should expect a few minutes of second half stoppage time. Oh, it's a turn into space now for McFerrin as the game really starting to get stretched. McFerrin gets past George. Still McFerrin goes on, and Dynison has to put it behind. Corner to come here for Albany. And again, with only the 8 matches in the regular season here in conference play, goal difference can become a key factor. And with the possibility of 4 teams being tied at the top of the conference at the midway point of the season, with Albany being one of those teams, you never want to root for running up score lines, but getting a goal or 2 more to your name for the rest of the year, that could help you a lot. This one hit towards the penalty spot. It's a free header, but easily taken. Smith. It's not a bad ball, actually. It was looking for Dixon, just a bit too strong. Dolene's had a good game today. There's actually a number of players for Inner that you could say that they've done their job. It's just the moments and the mistakes have loomed large in this game, and Albany have cashed in on them. Ultimately, that's sport for you. Some days it goes your way, and the others it doesn't. And teams won't be ruthless when they get the chance. Today, Albany were. And George does well to find Sampson now. Maxine, a heavy touch. Mia Van Dyke not giving her a lot of space. Van Dyke's just going to put this into an area for McFerrin. Again, George coming on as a second half substitute. This clears that away. That's an awkward one for Peterson. Goes straight up into the air, and the header has to be pawed away by Donison. That's an awkward one for just about everybody there. Christina coming up with another necessary stop to deny McFerrin of a goal off the bench. The inner still going on here, searching for one before the end of the match. Dolene Smith certainly at the main point of the attack today for Inter Connecticut. Able to find Dixon, but takes a tumble trying to bring that ball down. Switch to this near side. Allard going back with Van Dyke. Mia and McLaren, that's going to be a tough tandem to break down over the course of this season. For Albany, who only conceded just the one across the 3 matches, but Dolene Smith stepping in. Just a heavy enough touch, and Richards was there to clean up the mess from Van Dyke. Still, though, not out of danger are the visitors. It's a tired ball forward, though just trying to shield it was Allard. Dixon takes it away and put it into the area. Well, certainly Albany are trying to get to the finish line, but life is not being made easy by the hosts. But that kind of brings to the point, though, if there's ever a mistake between Van Dyke and Richards, there's going to be someone that's going to clean it up. Usually it's the other of the two. It's going to be really interesting to see how this team gets on when they get to the meat of the schedules. The offside flag comes up. Strike off the post from McFerrin nonetheless. Just waiting on the signal from the 4th referee to see how much stoppage time there will be. I don't see a 4th referee down there. Well, nonetheless, we play. Nielsen. Oh, it's a good touch and a chance now for Burmeister to wrap it up, but she puts it wide. Kira Burmeister had a chance to wrap up a really strong day in front of goal for Albany, but just not able to keep it on target. We are into second half stoppage time. The time is being kept on the field. Well, it's a giveaway again in a dangerous area. Burmeister electing to pass it to McFerrin. Just a bit too strong. It'll be out for a goal kick. So we never got a signal of how much stoppage time there is, but imagining we're now into that 2nd minute. Probably can't imagine there would be any more than 3. Schaefer. Now Sampson. Again, Burmeister with the interception. Well, that's a good ball played square. Driving forward is Georgia Green to Sam Torres. The flag has stayed down. Heavy touch, but finished nonetheless. It's a 2nd goal of the afternoon for Sam Torres. And likely with just only a few moments remaining in the second half stoppage time period, it's the 4th, and Albany, they'll be taking 3 points back to the Capital Region. Albany Rush goal in second half stoppage time. Her second of the day, scored by number 9, Sam Torres. Well, Torres, just took that one really well. Player came off the bench in the second match of the season. Doing the same here today, but this time getting a pair of goals. Someone who scored a goal over 2 seasons with Southern New Hampshire University. Doubling that total just here today. I feel for Inter-Connecticut, the scoreline does not flatter them by any stretch of the imagination as the referee blows the whistle. It's Albany who maintain their perfect start to the season, 3 wins from 3. Meanwhile, for Inter-Connecticut, with just 1 match at home left to go in the regular season, they will look to try and turn around their form. They will head out to the road for their next couple of games. We will see you on Friday, June the 19th, when Inter-Connecticut take on Connecticut Rush. That game is scheduled for a 6 p.m. start time. Thanks for tuning in here to the Inter-Connecticut FC YouTube page as well as WPSL TV. For our entire Bluegill Productions crew, I'm JJ Duke saying so long and enjoy the rest of your weekend.